Good evening and welcome to Confronting Injustice. I am your host, Linda Solomon, and today we're confronting a crisis that's quietly dismantling opportunities for thousands of students across America. Recent executive orders aimed at restricting diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, along with deep cuts to programs like TRIO and Pell Grants, are leaving countless college students, not only students of color, but all those most in need of financial assistance, struggling to stay in school. For decades, these programs have opened doors to higher education for low-income, first-generation students who simply need a fair chance. Now these doors are closing, and with them, the hopes for a brighter, more equitable future. My guest this evening is Kayla. She is living this reality. A second-year student at Middlesex Community College, an honors student, a first-generation scholar, and a two-time cancer survivor. She has overcome extraordinary challenges only to face the heartbreaking possibility of being unable to finish her degree due to these very cuts. Kayla's story is one of courage, resilience, and the urgent need to re-examine what kind of nation we really want to be. She is passionate, committed, and she's just an incredible young lady. And Kayla, it is wonderful to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't even know where to begin because you're involved in so many different things. But let me just preface it by saying that share only what you're comfortable sharing, because your story is steeped in trauma.
Absolutely.
And so let's start with you sharing a little bit about who you are. And then I want the audience to hear about what you did yesterday, the opportunity you had yesterday.
Okay. Good, tell me. So again, you said this perfectly. My name is Kayla. I am a student at Middlesex Community College. At the college, I serve as a tutor, working with students both one-on-one from our English language learners all the way through to our honors seminars courses, and have held academic discussions for the last year, which are now open to all students covering any and every topic in today's American political climate. I also serve as a liberal arts ambassador, working hardly to deconstruct and decolonialize our Eurocentric-based education system. And I serve on the Student Government Association. I'm a community organizer, and I co-teach post-colonial and diaspora studies. And as you mentioned, I am a proud member of the TRIO program.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm one of 8 siblings. My father was incarcerated for more than half my life. My mother struggled with addiction. For as long as I can remember, I've been running a household and raising kids. My mother went to total organ failure at just 40, passed away. As you mentioned, I got the opportunity to finally adopt my 2 youngest siblings.
And you sang yourself.
Yes.
It's just your story. It needs to be a movie. And you are so passionate about helping others. I know you're involved with this, what is it? The food project, right? Making sure that food equity.
Yes, my research had led me into finding the gaps of coverage for students. We saw such a large influx of students coming into community colleges once Massachusetts opened up school for free. But the same problems that kept these students that are now students from coming in the first place was wraparound services. If you're poor, you can't afford a computer, which you need for school. If you are focusing on 4 classes at a time or more, it is hard to even find time to cook, to be yourself, to find space to just adapt to this. You're still facing everything that you were facing with poverty, um, just now with a new load. So what we do in the Department of Essential Needs and Shared Resources is it's more of the full wraparound services for students that are coming in those situations.
And so when you say wraparound, you're talking about making sure that students receive all of the services that they need. It's not just about being in class. And four
No.
classes they have to take 4 classes to be full time.
Yes. Yes. So while this is a great opportunity for anyone that has not gone to school, there are certain standards that you still have to abide by to make sure that that school stays free.
Mhm.
And 4 classes of it.
Well, it's interesting too because you said, you know, they say that community college is free, but it's not really. Is it really free? I mean, people just think, oh, I'll just go take classes, even though I don't have any money. It doesn't work that way. Can you
Right. Yep.
kind of help our audience understand what that really means or what that entails?
Yeah. So I think that
You can use yourself for an example because we're jumping ahead, but it's likely that you will not be able to go to college
yes.
next year with all these cuts.
Yes. So way that Massachusetts has made school free is that you still have to apply for a federal Pell Grant.
Mm-hmm.
With the policy changes that were made, I think there was about 11,000 students in Massachusetts alone that immediately became ineligible based off the class load that they were taking. What the federal government is now requiring, I believe, is 5 classes to qualify for the Pell Grant. Right. And then for me, my school journey is my education journey has not been linear. So we were talking before the first time that I was diagnosed with cancer, and I was in the process of adopting my first sibling, and my mother had just had her first stroke. I had to stop coming to school, and so at this point, the way that the federal financial aid works is you have if you don't finish in the 2 years that they're saying, you have time and a half. And where I was sick, I had to pull out from that. So I don't have any funding after this year. I have no funding left according to the federal government. And again, it's not because I'm done learning. It's because I don't have the grades. It's not because I'm disinterested in continuing or that I failed. It's because in the eyes of our federal government, my education has been deemed unworthy of investment. So that's where we're at today.
And that is interesting because you're like an honest student. You have, there's so many things that you do to enrich the lives of others. Academically, you're on point. You're tutoring, you're running seminars, you're co-teaching. And because of these executive orders, you're deemed put in this status that is absurd.
Yes. This is the true cost of these policies. They don't just close programs, they close possibilities. They don't just defund progress, they defund potential. It's a little insane to me. That's not going to stop me or deter me from moving forward in this work. It's embedded in my soul. I couldn't stop if I wanted to, but it's definitely, these new policies send out a clear message, and it stings. It stings. It's like, you try, you're trying to find your voice, you're trying to find your purpose, you're trying to, and when you come to college, you're trying to see where you fit in this and what these policies are doing, saying you don't fit anywhere, you don't have a place here.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting because being a first generation college bound student, which means that your mother and your father graduated from college, the whole college experience is new. So aside from trying to negotiate the academics, you're negotiating living the college life,
Yes.
which is very different from the non-college life. You know, it's a transition. So it's mind-boggling. And the executive orders don't make a lot of sense. They're very hurtful.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's intentional because the people who are most in need are the ones who are being shut out.
Absolutely. These federal actions undermining equity in higher education are not just abstract issues. Like, this is personal. This is threatening the very institutions that like allowed me to survive and take care of my family. That has allowed my success possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's really insane to me. It's these new executive orders and rules and decisions didn't just change the rules for like these legacy schools. It changed the climate of higher education everywhere.
Absolutely. From Harvard, MIT, all the way down to community colleges.
And it's like at community colleges like Middlesex, here in Middlesex, we're just about 60% of our students live in low socioeconomic status or below the poverty line. Like I said, this ruling hits different. Our students don't come from privilege. They're not going for those legacy wins. We come from working class families, from immigrant families, from grief, from pain. And like when the court said that race could no longer be considered, it told us that our lived experiences, our fight, it didn't count. That's insane to hear. That's insane to think about.
It is insane to hear because it's like inflicting trauma. People who've already been traumatized.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know where you get your resilience from, your stick-to-itiveness, you're a fighter, you're a warrior. But then many people who may be as intelligent as the next person or more, but will be discouraged by these roadblocks that these executive orders are now placing in front of people.
Absolutely.
And there's no one that you can call. Because who do you... For someone who doesn't get financial aid, what are the options? Where do they go?
Yeah.
So it really is devastating.
Yeah.
Question for you, though. How are you coping with this emotionally? Because it impacts you and then it impacts the people that you're helping.
Absolutely. You know, if I'm being honest,
yeah,
it's scary. It's disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
Education has been my light, something that has given me purpose and stability. Mm-hmm. Facing cancer twice. The idea of losing that feels like losing part of my future.
Absolutely.
But I'm also resilient. I've learned that even in uncertainty, you can still stand strong. I can advocate for myself. I will never lose this idea, or my voice is unshakable at this point. I've gotten enough opinion. I remind myself that I've faced bigger battles before. I'm still here, and that it's not about me. It's not just about me. There's thousands of us. There's millions of us. We are a collective. We are one. So it's
and I think that's a really important message that people should know. You're not alone, and you may, people may feel alone. There are a lot of people suffering in silence. Mm-hmm. And that, the fact that you are planning this this gathering. I want you to tell people about this gathering because um, I think the gathering offers hope, offers opportunity. It's an invitation for people to come and be a part of something that's bigger than them. Um, and I know that you are leading this charge. So can you just tell us about the gathering that is actually next week?
Absolutely. So this event, it is a teaching on community healing through transformative justice. It was, I was sitting in class my very first semester in an honor seminar called Race, Class, and Gender. And the very first page had mentioned Americans 1989, the Charles Stewart case, and it was involving my uncle, William Bennett. And they used the murder of a white woman to absolutely disregard the civil rights of every person of color in the state of Massachusetts, all the way down to, I think it was Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right.
Absolutely. So when I saw that and on this page, and I realized that it was just a sentence and that we didn't get any story behind what that was, what the issues was, where the injustice was, and no one seemed to grasp those concepts around me. I looked around and panicked. I panicked. I was like, so,
And before you go on, so you panicked because your classmates didn't know anything about that, and it happened in their lifetime.
that happened in their lifetime. And not that they didn't know about that, but they weren't aware. They were still basing their beliefs off the premise that the North was safe and that the North fought against slavery and to free the slaves. That's not what it was. The North and the South fighting was over economic gains. It had nothing to do with whether we were human or not, or whether we had whether we were human or not, and should we still be in shackles. The North was fighting because the South was making too much money off of us, not because we were human, not because we were human in their eyes. So that's
Trying to save us.
right. They weren't trying to save us. They needed us to win, for sure. But and that's still that's still what we're teaching in our classes. K through 12, that's what they're learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a college level honors seminar, even though we're teaching on racism and sexism and classism, and there shouldn't be a reason why we human beings don't know our history, because if we don't know our history, we are doomed to repeat.
And that's why we don't know, and that's why colleges don't teach, and high schools don't teach, or they teach in limited. And typically, like Christopher Columbus was this, like the information that's being taught is not correct. It's incorrect. And
it's to narrative. It's to fit their narrative.
It's to fit their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't mention this whole critical race theory, this movement to take things out of the history books, to not teach certain sections because it will make some people uncomfortable.
Sit in the uncomfort. We sat in the uncomfort for how long?
Absolutely.
It wasn't an issue for y'all to have us remain in the uncomfort, but don't do that to our future. Don't do that to our children that are in school now that have this opportunity. You don't have to present critical race theory like it's a big monster, or that you have to a big pressure that you're putting on a child. You teach it in a way that is at their level, that's at their age, and you meet them there. And we do that so we don't repeat the mistakes we know we made in the past.
Exactly.
Is wild. We are doomed to repeat ourselves. So that's why I can't shut up. I cannot keep my mouth shut about this.
Yeah. Well, I don't want you to keep your mouth shut about it. I definitely don't. And, I think that if we are focused on the critical race theory, then that means we're not teaching the whole truth, right?
Yeah.
And what do people take out? What part of the truth do they take out to soothe someone else's state of being? Doesn't make sense. But your activity next week speaks to what is it? Truth to
Truth to power. Truth to power.
There you go.
Yeah, we are. So we are speaking, we're giving a glimpse, not just, I didn't want to just tell the story of my family. I wanted to use the story of my family, which is we're using bits and pieces of the documentary Murder in Boston. And so we're using pieces of that to highlight the truth that is being omitted from our classrooms, from our students within Massachusetts. We start here. We have to identify and be on the same page to be able to work through this. And we are not on the same page because we are not being taught the same things.
Okay.
This growing wave of anti-DEI policies, the funding cuts, the silencing of racial discourse, the rebranding of inclusion as division, like it has really human consequences. Yeah.
That's right. And so for people who attend, they will have the opportunity to speak to people who have first-hand experience. They call that, as in, I'm a former educator, retired educator, and primary source information. This is information from individuals who have lived experiences. This is not book knowledge. This is not hearsay. And we'll have a panel of people who have a vast array of experiences who otherwise probably wouldn't have the opportunity to share their stories.
Absolutely.
Speaks directly to this.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Here and now, this is the time to do it. I think that maybe 4 or 5 years ago, these stories would have got even just and the people that are coming are incredible human beings. Each panelist, yes, have been touched by the criminal justice system. This systemic racism that is steeped and embedded in that system. They go hand in hand. We can't talk about anything criminal justice without talking about the systemic racism that's just baked into the crust. Yeah. So what's really cool about this, though, is that they will use they're expressing their stories, and then their testimony will be heard. I'm tired of trying to build something and then for people to show interest in it. No, we're bringing it front and center. Here you are. Get uncomfortable. Get ready to get uncomfortable. And then the healing portion to this. It depends on what community healing, I think, means to you. But I see us as a whole growing. We're expanding together. We're uniting. In the third portion, we will have 10 organizations from across the state of Massachusetts, all nonprofits that are doing the social justice work. And I hope that we are creating connections, conversations, furthering the work that's being done, involving the students right at this level. We're not even asking you to go get a piece of paper, because we all might not get that piece of paper, but we can make a change, and we can still have effects on the human beings around us. We can be a part of this larger community and this movement. And I think that we need to consider that. As much as I love going to school, and I love learning, and I consider myself a forever learner, and it doesn't matter if I am able to continue or not. I will be heartbroken, but I will find another way. We've been doing that for
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's important for people, when you say that people may feel uncomfortable, we have been socialized from the time we were born. And so there are some things that we may believe that may not necessarily be true, probably are not. And so The gathering next week, I see it as an opportunity for people to come and be in community with other people, to learn with and from each other. I mean, everyone is welcome.
Absolutely.
Right? Everyone's welcome.
Now you had asked me, how do I cope? This is how I cope, by coming back to my community, letting my community pour into me, and then going out and coming back from my community. This is what drives me. There are days where I just want to quit and roll over and throw in the towel and say, this is nobody what, like, I'm not wanted. These, like, no one, it is so hard unless you have community. Like, it's hard with community, but it's so much harder without.
Absolutely. And I think that's why the suicide rate, although we don't hear a lot about it, but it's increasing, especially among young people. And I
Absolutely.
think that we should definitely be concerned about.
Well, even at the hearing yesterday, I was speaking for all of the students. As a tutor of English language learners and international students, I've seen fear in the eyes of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. It doesn't matter the age, but fear that their dreams, that their very presence here has become political targets. They've become the thing that they're taught to fear. Like that, it's I don't know what to say sometimes to tutees that come in and are like, I don't necessarily have a problem with my homework. I just can't think past, that I might get kidnapped off the streets or can't get to my car or home safely. That, I'm going to get kicked out of my apartment, that I don't have food to eat to fuel my brain. It's disheartening. But what I say to them is, come to this event, find your place in community. Your place is here in this community. If I can hold that space open, and that is my mission right now, to hold that space open. You are welcome. You are loved. You are wanted. Your voice is heard. There is space for you. You don't have to take it on alone. Come join.
Good.
So,
You said that you see fear in the face of some of your students, your tutees.
yeah.
And I think it's important for people to realize that these are not people necessarily who are here illegally. There are people who have been here illegally, who've been here legally for a very long time, who are being snatched off the street, and their families have no idea of where they are, who to call, what to do. And I know you have firsthand experience with that.
I do. So, a few weeks ago, my nephew's grandfather, who has been here for longer than I've been alive, legally was in the process of, I think that it is important that we go back and once again learn immigration is not illegal. Simply existing here is not illegal. There are steps to take, and there's thousands of dollars you have to pay, but it takes some time. We are backlogged, I think 7 to 10 years before this administration had came in. And of course, that's 7 to 10 years if you have the money at that time, but it's a process, right? So, as I said, my nephew's grandfather was here. He's been here for longer than I've been alive. He's been over here with his mother, who's 100 years old. He has conservatorship over his daughter, and he was driving his route at work, and was kidnapped out of his truck, delivering at one of his stops, and he hasn't been seen or heard from since. His phone is turned off. Like, the number has been disconnected. We've heard no word of his whereabouts. And who do we call? There's no one to call, because the government
that's supposed to protect you is actually the perpetrators.
Yes. Yeah. And so, like, what happens to that entire family? What happens to that community? I think we were talking about when do we realize that this is, I feel as though I've never been able to place myself in to the shoes of like a German citizen during the time of Nazi rule when they were rounding up Jews, right? Um, except for today,
Mm.
except for today. And I think that that is what fuels the fire as well. Because I had always thought in my head, no, that could never happen. Not
Not
is
here. Not
not
here.
not ever, not ever. And I would never fall victim to it, and neither would anybody that I know. But here we are in the and if you are quiet, I want to let you know you are also complicit in it.
That's
If
right.
you're not talking about it, you're part of the problem.
You're absolutely right. Kayla, we could go on and on and on, but we don't have a lot of time left. So I think what closing words, closing remarks.
Closing remarks.
What would you say to this administration, one, to the people who are afraid, who are afraid?
I think that right now it's important that we all stay safe. That is first and foremost. And it's okay if it's not you that is out there to protest, but if your very existence is the resistance, um, find community. Come find us because there are voices that will scream at the top of their lungs till their lungs give out for you. I am one of them. I know you are one of them. And a whole bowl of people that are behind you. Like, reach out. You don't have to do this alone. I know it's scary, but we'll get through it together.
Mhm. Absolutely. And then so for the young people who, so the message is we'll do it together. Don't try to do this alone.
Don't do it alone. It's okay. And like, come to October 22nd. We're at Middlesex Community College in Lowell. It's going to be from again 9:30 to 1:45, where we will be learning together.
Okay, wonderful. And is there a cost? And how can people get more information?
To get more information. That's no cost. It is free.
Okay.
But just show up. Just show up.
Show up. Okay.
I'm down.
Wonderful. Great. I would like to thank you.
Thank you so
I
much.
would like to thank you for sharing your story and spreading seeds of hope for people who may be in school who are concerned about what they're going to do next semester.
It's gonna be like, and maybe we think outside the box. Why are we strictly relying on federal funding if we know that they're trying to hold that and dangle that as a carrot? Maybe it's time we start thinking about organizing like a nonprofit or organizing like a network and seeing who needs what and really coming together as a community. School isn't for everybody. That isn't everyone's role, but for the people that are in school, like, let's come together and support that. I think that I wish that our federal government would look beyond numbers and see the faces. Every statistic represents a student like me, someone who has fought hard to get here, trying to build a better life. When funding is cut, they're not just balancing budgets, they're deciding who gets to dream and who doesn't.
Right.
Education saved my life. Don't take that chance away from somebody else. But if you are a student right now, know that there are people fighting that good fight that are to help you and come find us.
Good, good. So to our listeners, Kayla's story reminds us that this is not just about policy. It's not just about policy. It's about people, right? It's about the dreams of young men and women who from every walk of life. As we said, this is not about black and white. There are first generation college students, black, white, Asian, like the whole gamut. So these executive orders impact the people that these orders don't really impact are the wealthy. Absolutely. Because they can afford to pay for what they want and what they need.
I think that we're running into a crisis of criminalizing poverty and it's no longer, right, just black and white. It's not just about race. When we talk about DEI, and especially in TRIO as well, we are, talking about anyone with a disability, people who need accommodations, who have legal rights to these accommodations. We are talking about mentorship that helps us get through that hardship, because we are absolutely running into that. Every single community college student has a story that's just as heartbreaking, if not more. Like, I am not a singular event. I represent the voices of thousands across this country. So let's pull up and do about it though.
Listen, when these executive orders and budget cuts, they strip away opportunities, as you said. And it doesn't just hurt individuals. Again, I think it needs to be said. It weakens the fabric of this very society. There's a saying that you can judge the character of a society based upon how they treat their young people. Mm-hmm. And I include college students in that group of young people.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I hope that our listeners and people don't think that this is just this is casual, that it's not important. It will trickle back. It trickles down to the larger society. There's no doubt, right?
I think that for now, anybody that is thinking that they're safe and they're not affected by these things, when they're done running through the immigrants, when they're done running through low socioeconomic status, they're coming for you. Don't think that you're safe. But you were asking, like, what can I say to other students right now? Like, I personally find hope in people, in the classmates who encourage each other, and the professors who believed in us and believed in me, and in the programs that remind us that we're not alone. So it's things like TRIO and staff that's still showing up while things are frozen, and people that are continuing to do what needs to be done, even though they're exhausted and it's been a 4 a.m. night and we took a nap for a second. But to other students, I say, don't give up.
Well,
it matters. Even when systems fail us, we can raise our voices, we can share our stories and push for change. It isn't something that we wait for. It's something we make together.
Right. And, I know that you have been working with some incredible professors at your school who are, I don't even know what title to give them, but they're breathing life into helping you to recognize your potential and other students. Like, they're putting, it's not even about, it's clear it's not only about teaching for them, right? Do you want to shout out?
I absolutely do. Shout out to Professor Jonathan Bennett. Shout out to Professor Kayla, both from Middlesex. I had to, oh my goodness, and shout out to our president, Phil. He's wonderful and has allowed me truly to bloom and blossom and fight and be as loud as I want to be.
Wonderful. And I know that there's probably others as well, I know, but again, our time is winding down. I really want to thank you for being here, for sharing your story, and planting those seeds of encouragement for people. And we want to ask ourselves, are we building a system that uplifts potential, or are we supporting a system that's tearing people down? We have, we don't have to ask ourselves that question, but I think, we should. And I want to challenge people. anything that you heard today, fact check. You know, these executive orders, public information. The community colleges information about what's going on is readily available. So do your research. And again, thank you. We will probably have you back after the event so you can share what you've learned or the opportunity that you give it.
I'd love to. I think that it's important. It's right. It just came from research, from researching the people that were doing this work, and really already transforming and transmuting their pain into purpose. And like, so I can't wait to thank you for having me. I can't wait to come back, and I look forward to our next meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.